Tonight I want to begin with two words, simple words, words you have heard before, and I want to give them back to you with a weight and a precision they rarely carry. It is coming. Not it might come. Not it will come if you do everything correctly. Not it will come eventually, perhaps, in some form when the conditions are right. It is coming. Present tense, active, certain, inevitable. The way dawn is coming at 3 in the morning, not visible yet, not yet felt as warmth on the skin, but as real as anything in existence, unfolding according to a law that does not consult your anxiety about whether it will arrive. Now, I want you to hold something alongside those words. Hold whatever it is you desire. The specific thing, the particular condition, the exact person, the precise quality of life that you have been imagining and reaching toward and perhaps waiting for with a patience that has sometimes worn thin. Hold it clearly in your mind and then receive these words as though they were addressed specifically to that desire, specifically to you in the privacy of this moment. It is coming. I am going to spend the next 30 minutes showing you why that statement is not encouragement. It is not the kind reassurance of someone who wants you to feel better. It is a declaration of law, of the precise, reliable, utterly consistent law that governs how consciousness creates reality, and why everything you have genuinely imagined, everything you have truly felt as real in your imagination, must, by that law, eventually appear in the world you walk through. But I am also going to show you something that is perhaps more practically useful than the assurance itself. Why the waiting feels the way it does, what is actually happening during the interval between assumption and manifestation, and how to inhabit that interval in a way that serves the process rather than obstructing it. Let me begin with the thing that troubles most people most deeply about the interval between desire and manifestation, because until it is understood, it functions as the primary source of the doubt that undermines the assumption. The trouble is time. The trouble is that you assumed something, you felt it as real, you went to sleep in the state of the wish fulfilled, and then you woke up the next morning and the outer world had not changed. And the morning after that, and the week after that, and in the space that opens up between your inner certainty and the outer world's silence, doubt begins its work. I want to address this with precision, because the doubt that arises in the interval is not irrational. It is the natural response of a mind trained by a lifetime of outer world experience to take the outer world's evidence as the primary report on what is real. And by that standard, the continuing absence of the desired thing is indeed evidence. Not conclusive evidence, but evidence, and the mind notices it. Here is what I want to offer in response to that evidence. The outer world is always reporting on the past, not the present, the past. The conditions you see around you right now are the materialized residue of assumptions held in previous days, previous months, previous years. They are the harvest of seeds planted before the assumption you have recently made. They have no bearing whatsoever on what the newly planted seed will produce. They are last season's crop, still visible in the field while this season's planting is underway beneath the soil. This means that when you look your outer world the morning after assuming your desire and see no change, you are not seeing evidence that your assumption has failed. You are seeing evidence of what was, which is always what the outer world shows you. It cannot show you what is, it can only show you what the past assumptions have already produced. Your new assumption is not yet visible in the outer world because it has not yet had time to move through the interval between planting and harvest. This interval is not a malfunction. It is not evidence of insufficient faith or imprecise technique. It is the nature of growth, and growth in every domain follows its own timetable which does not adjust itself to accommodate your impatience. Consider the seed planted in the ground. Does the farmer interpret the unchanged surface of the soil on the second day as evidence that nothing is happening? Of course not. He understands that the most critical and most complete work of germination occurs entirely beneath the surface, entirely out of sight, in a darkness that gives no outer indication of the vitality it contains. He waits not with resignation, but with the practical, unsentimental trust of one who understands the process. Time, in the context of manifestation, is not your enemy. It is the medium through which the inner becomes the outer, the necessary interval in which what is already true in consciousness takes form in the world. And once you understand this, you are freed from the exhausting anxiety of watching the clock. I want now to describe something that is almost never addressed in discussions of manifestation, and whose absence from those discussions is, I believe, responsible for a great deal of unnecessary suffering. What is actually happening during the interval? Not in vague terms, not in consoling generalities, but specifically, what is the nature of the process that is underway during the time between the genuine planting of the assumption and its appearance in the outer world? The first thing that is happening is reorganization. Your consciousness, having accepted the new assumption, begins the work of reorganizing itself around it. The deep patterns of thought, the habitual self-talk, the automatic reactions to events, the taken for granted sense of what you are and what is possible for you. All of these begin at the level of the subconscious to shift their orientation toward the new assumption as their new center of gravity. This does not happen instantly. These patterns have years of momentum behind them. But the process, once the assumption has been genuinely planted, is underway, silently, invisibly, but with a reliability that does not depend on your ability to observe it. The second thing that is happening is what I call alignment. The outer world, which is always catching up to the inner, begins at the level of the people around you, the circumstances of your daily life, the opportunities that present themselves and those that quietly cease to, adjusting itself to match the new inner state. This adjustment in its early stages is likewise invisible to you. The conversation that will matter has not yet occurred. The meeting that will shift everything has not yet been arranged. The idea that will open the door is still forming in a mind you have not yet encountered. But the adjustment is underway. The universe is not waiting for you to do something more. It is already, as I often say, conspiring in your favor. The third thing, and this one I want you to receive with particular care, is preparation. There are things you will need to be, to understand, to have developed in yourself in order to fully inhabit the life your desire represents. And the interval between assumption and manifestation is frequently the time during which that preparation is occurring, often through experiences that seem to have nothing to do with your desire, and sometimes through experiences that seem directly to oppose it. The person who desires wealth will sometimes encounter, during the interval, a challenge that tests their relationship with money in a new and more demanding way. The person who desires a loving relationship will sometimes encounter, in that same interval, exactly the dynamic they most need to resolve within themselves before the relationship they desire could possibly be stable. This is not punishment. This is not the universe withholding. This is the universe preparing, ensuring that when the desired condition arrives, the person standing in it is genuinely ready to inhabit it fully. Do not be impatient with the preparation. Do not mistake the preparation for delay. The oak is not delayed by spending its early months as a sapling. It is becoming what it needs to be. And so, in the interval of your waiting, are you? I want to be practical now, because understanding the interval is valuable, but not sufficient. What matters is how you actually live during the interval, and most people, even those who understand the principle, make the same several errors that extend the interval far beyond what is necessary. The first error is monitoring. By this I mean the habit of regularly checking the outer world for signs that the manifestation is in progress. The daily inventory of evidence, the anxious reading of circumstances for confirmation that the law is working. I have already addressed why the outer world cannot give you this confirmation. It is always reporting on the past. But the more important point is this. Every act of anxious monitoring takes you, briefly but genuinely, out of the state of the wish fulfilled and into the state of one who is waiting and watching and not yet certain. And consciousness creates from the state you actually occupy, not the state you intend to occupy. Every return to monitoring is a return, however brief, to the state of lack. The practice is simple to describe, though not always easy to execute. Stop checking, not by suppressing the impulse, which only gives it more energy, but by redirecting, by returning, each time the monitoring impulse arises to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, not looking for evidence of it, being in it. These are not the same movement. One is the act of a mind that does not yet fully trust. The other is the natural behavior of a mind that does. The second error is what I call narrative resistance. The habit of telling to yourself and to others the story of the waiting. I have been working on this for so long. I cannot understand why it hasn't come yet. I wonder if I am doing something wrong. Every recitation of this narrative reinforces the state of the person who is still waiting, and the law faithfully produces more waiting in response. The narrative must be revised, not into false performance, not into the strained cheerfulness of someone pretending things are better than they are, into the quiet matter-of-fact language of one who knows the outcome is settled. It is in progress. It is underway. It is coming. These simple statements, spoken inwardly from genuine conviction, are creative acts. They plant seed in the same soil that the anxious narrative was poisoning. The third error is conditional living, the postponement of inner states until the outer world delivers the desired conditions. I will feel at peace when this resolves. I will be generous when I have more. I will be confident when the circumstances confirm my worth. This inversion, waiting for the outer to produce the inner, is the precise reversal of the creative process. The inner always precedes the outer, always, without exception. The moment you genuinely begin to feel at peace, to be generous, to carry yourself with the quiet assurance of one whose worth requires no outer confirmation, in that moment you have planted the seed from which peace, abundance, and assurance must grow in your outer world. Do not wait for the outer. Become now what the outer will eventually reflect. This is not pretense, it is the correct sequence. I have taught many techniques over the years, and I want to speak tonight about the one I consider most powerful. Not because it is complex, but because it uses the most receptive moment in the rhythm of your day, the threshold of sleep. In the moments just before you drift off, when the conscious, analytical, outer world monitoring mind begins to quiet, and the deeper layers of consciousness become accessible, your subconscious mind is open to impression in a way it is not during the busy, defended hours of the waking day. What you plant in consciousness at that threshold is received by the deeper mind with a directness and a depth that daytime practice rarely achieves. The practice is this: each night as you approach sleep, construct a scene in your imagination, a brief, vivid sensory scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire, not the process of its arrival, not the journey toward it, the scene that could only exist after it has been fulfilled, a conversation you would have from that place, a feeling you would carry in your body, a simple moment of ordinary life that is only possible if the desired thing has already occurred. Make the scene small and specific rather than grand and general. Grand scenes require effort to sustain. A small, specific sensory moment, the particular quality of light in the room, the particular weight of the thing in your hand, the particular tone in the voice that confirms what you desired has come to pass. This can be held with ease, with naturalness, with the kind of relaxed yet vivid attention that is perfect for the threshold of sleep. And then drift into sleep inside that scene, not reaching for it, not affirming it, simply inhabiting it the way you would inhabit a room you know well, without effort, without drama, as simply and naturally as closing your eyes. Your subconscious mind, which does not distinguish between what is vividly imagined and what is physically experienced, will receive this impression as fact, and it will work through the night with an intelligence and a creativity that the waking mind cannot match, finding the most natural pathway from the inner impression to its outer realization. Arranging, adjusting, aligning the elements of your world to conform to what has been impressed upon it. This is not magic. This is the correct use of a capacity you already have at the time it is most accessible. Practice it every night with the simple consistency of one who tends their garden. Not dramatically, not urgently, but reliably. And watch, over the days and weeks that follow, how your world begins to shift in the direction of the seed you have been planting in the most fertile soil available to you. There is a quality of consciousness that is required during the interval, and it is the one that is most difficult to develop and most transformative when genuinely established. It is trust, not the trust of one who has seen the evidence and is therefore reassured. That is not trust, that is confirmation. Trust, in the sense I mean it tonight, is the settled conviction of one who proceeds as though the outcome is certain, not because the outer world has confirmed it, but because the inner world has established it, and the inner world is the cause of which the outer is always the effect. This trust is not achieved by argument. You cannot reason your way into it. You cannot accumulate enough confirming evidence to finally arrive at it. Because the kind of trust I am describing does not wait for evidence. It is prior to evidence, and its priority over evidence is precisely what makes it the creative force it is. It is achieved, rather, through the persistent practice of living from the end, through the daily, nightly, repeated return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled, until that feeling becomes less an act and more a residence, until the state of the wish fulfilled is less a destination you travel toward, and more the address from which you simply live. The scripture speaks of faith as the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I want to dwell on that phrase, the evidence of things not seen. This is precise. Your faith, your genuine inner conviction that the desired thing is already real in consciousness, is not the hope that evidence will eventually appear. It is itself the evidence. The felt reality of the wish fulfilled in imagination is the evidence of its reality in the spiritual realm, which is the only realm in which creation actually takes place. The physical realm merely reports what the spiritual realm has already established. When you understand this, waiting is transformed. It is no longer the anxious vigil of one who does not know the outcome. It becomes something more like the quiet attentiveness of one who knows the outcome and is watching with a kind of interested curiosity to see in precisely what form and through precisely what pathway the already established inner reality will choose to make itself visible. This is trust, not resignation, not passive acceptance of whatever comes. The active, creative, generative certainty of one who knows who they are and what they have planted and how the law works, and who therefore meets each day not with anxiety but with the open-handed readiness of one who expects to be surprised by exactly the gift they have already claimed. Let me leave you tonight with this. You have been told, perhaps many times, that faith moves mountains, and most people receive this as an inspiring but vague claim about the power of positive attitude. I want to give it back to you tonight in its precise, practical, operational meaning. Faith, genuine faith, the kind the scripture describes as the substance of things not yet seen, is not a feeling you generate through effort. It is the natural state of a consciousness that has genuinely accepted a new assumption as true. When the acceptance is real, when it has moved below the level of conscious intention and settled into the deeper ground of what you simply and ordinarily know, it becomes the kind of certainty that does not require the outer world's cooperation to remain stable. This certainty is what moves mountains, not by willing the mountain to move, not by visualizing it moving, but by inhabiting so completely the state of one for whom the mountain has already moved, that the outer world, which is always and only the faithful mirror of the inner, has no choice but to reflect that state back as the physical reality of a mountain that has moved. Your desire, the specific thing you have been holding, the particular condition you have been imagining, is already real. Not eventually, not contingently, already. In the realm where all creation takes place, it is established. The physical world is moving now, at the level of its deepest rearrangements, toward the expression of what is already true in your consciousness. The interval is real. The process takes the time it takes. But the outcome, for one who plants the seed correctly and tends it faithfully and trusts the law completely, the outcome is not in question. It is coming, not as a hope, not as a prayer, as a declaration of what the law, applied faithfully, always and without exception produces. Your desire is coming. Divine timing, which is not the timing of something outside you, but the perfect, intelligent, orderly unfolding of your own wonderful consciousness, is at work. The elements are aligning. The preparation is proceeding. The interval is not wasted time. It is the gestation of what you have created. Plant the seed tonight. Water it with your persistent assumption. Trust the soil. And in the morning, live as one who knows. Because you do. This is Neville Lectures. I'll see you again in the next video.